Welcome to Galactic Initiative. I'm your host, Jeff. Joining me as always, David. Welcome, David.
Hello, sir.
And Sean. Welcome, Sean.
Hello, my friend.
Let's talk about the future of Star Wars. Are you excited about The Bad Batch?
I am kind of excited for it. I think I need to see more. Again, I'm one of the people who was very disappointed when the Clone Wars was canceled. I think that there could be some interesting stuff to pursue there. I think, showing the end of the Clone War era and the rise of the Empire and the transition from clone troopers to stormtroopers, or as the clones were cycled out, or things like that. I mean, there is a very interesting story to be told there. And again, like anything, if you do it right, it'll be fantastic. But Filoni's spread out across multiple properties now. So I don't know. I mean, are we going to get the same quality of writing and producing that we got on the Clone Wars? If we do, then yeah, it can be very exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
I am indifferent. I didn't necessarily really enjoy those 4 episodes of that last season that they did on Disney Plus. I think the Clone Wars story has been told, and I want something new. I don't want to continue rehashing old stories. The same old Clone Wars continue.
Well, in the trailer, we see the Bad Batch along with thousands and thousands of other clones listening to Emperor Palpatine's declaration. The Republic is being reorganized, changed into the Empire. So I see no signs of them going backward. I see only signs of them going forward into an era that we don't know.
The Bad Batch and the Siege of Mandalore were already pre-planned to be a part of the late stages of Season 6 and Season 7. And they only had to really do the finish animation. And they did tweak a couple of things to bring it more in line with a preview trailer. Like it was a commercial. Half the people in Season 7 will be, as part of this announcement, getting their own spin-offs.
All right, next up, the Acolyte.
So, again, I haven't heard anything about the female-centric series, other than it's supposed to be in an alternate timeline. I forget what her name is, the lady who's been slated to direct that, but Kathleen Kennedy has been talking about it on her press junkets.
Leslie Headland.
Leslie Headland, there you go. Thank you, sir. So it's kind of multiversy, so it doesn't even really fall in anywhere on the current saga/Star Wars universe timeline. Sounds like it's going to be Force-related. There's going to be some kung fu in it, and it's going to be a girl show. So we'll see.
Considering that they talk about exploring the dark side, I would love the backstory of the Palpatine. You could slide that in on the side, but if it is what Sean says it is, with an alternate universe or alternate timeline, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to be able to take that.
I don't know if it is actually going to be the DC multiverse version of Star Wars, but what Kathleen Kennedy herself has said is it's going to be female-centric, it's going to be focused on martial arts, and it is going to be on an alternate timeline. And they've, then of course everybody in fandom has run with the world between worlds and multiple universes and time travel and Star Wars and all. Anyway, who knows?
So the Acolyte is a mystery thriller that will take viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic. That just, I guess, if anything, it concerns me. What type of liberties are they actually going to take?
We have seen a lot of the early material, pre-release book chapters and the concept art and all that kind of stuff for the comic books and the novels for the High Republic. And I don't know, it doesn't look like Star Wars. I'm very concerned about where that's heading. And I could be wrong. I was concerned about Rebels. I didn't watch it the first year. The second year, I was like, I might check it out, but then I didn't really get around to it. And then somebody's like, Maul's in it. So I went back and watched the whole thing, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite, entries in the Star Wars universe. And, well, I should have said, I'll give it a chance. But right now, though, the High Republic scares the hell out of me. And anything that's associated with it, even if it's the tail end of the High Republic era and the rise of murky darkness.
With the Acolyte, we're entering an era that is essentially just beginning in print media. So jury's out. This series, it's very much a wait and see for me.
Well, another thing that's interesting is the sort of weirdness about the logos for these shows. They're starting to depart from the recognizable Star Wars. If you go back and you look at all the movies, the Clone Wars and you look at all these things, Rebels, like they've all kind of had a similar aesthetic to the logo. And some of these, like the Rangers, they're out there. I don't know, again, if this is something that falls out of the High Republic thing. It's also weird that they're going to spin off a live action television show from a multi-platform print media event. It feels very EU to me. It feels very Dark Horse and Bantam Books night circa 1998. I'm getting Ryan Johnson feels in this moment. You know, when they say, "Hey, we're going to do a spin-off show off the High Republic," I have flashbacks to Kathleen Kennedy saying, before we ever saw The Last Jedi, saying, "You're going to love this movie so much. We're giving this guy a trilogy." I'm assuming that if you're doing this at a shareholders meeting and you have designed a logo to share with people, that this stuff is actually happening. But, you know, there's been so many announcements over however many years now of Kathleen Kennedy at Lucasfilm. So many directors hired, so many producers, writers, all these people that have all since been fired and we've never seen anything. So I've got one sample chapter from a YA novel. I don't even know what's going on yet.
How often does this actually happen in studios where you plan to do something and somebody pulls out of directing or writing or whatever? And I understand that, but Ryan Johnson, I mean, his name was not mentioned once, and he is still supposedly to do his trilogy.
In all of these new shows, it's very obvious what's missing: the sequel trilogy. Said this at the time, saying it again. There will never be a Ryan Johnson trilogy. Ryan Johnson will never be allowed near another Star Wars product. Period. All right, Kenobi, a limited series.
This one, for me, holds the most potential because what she mentioned in the junket, the announcement of Hayden Christensen returning as Darth Vader, that gets me going. I am pumped. I want to see more Vader. Kenobi and Vader are going to potentially fight. I would love to see another Vader Kenobi battle. I mean, this really does connect episode 3 and 4. I'm the most excited about this one out of all the announcements.
Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi was probably the most brilliant casting move by George Lucas in the entire prequel trilogy. But I think Kathleen Kennedy and company are not making a very good argument for their abilities to produce good TV. Now, Filoni and Favreau are. The director who has worked with Filoni and Favreau is being handed the reins to this, so I'm optimistic.
I'm really excited to see what Deborah Chow, that's directing, can do with this Obi-Wan series.
She's proven herself as someone who can handle Star Wars material and be true to the vision and to what's come before. And I also think that having Ewan McGregor involved in this show could be amazing. When I hear limited series, I get scared. Right now, I'm really frustrated with the length of the episodes of The Mandalorian. Now, I understand the first season of Mandalorian was kind of like, it was a completely speculative thing. Now, obviously, it became this great success and this great thing. Well, when we had, for example, the Clone Wars, you had a full regular season of TV with 22 episodes, and you could build story arcs over multiple episodes. But when you're saying it's a limited series, it's going to, and like David dropped in the chat here for this particular Kenobi thing, it's going to be 6 episodes. If those 6 episodes aren't at least an hour each, you run the risk of either under delivering big time or writing yourself into a corner where you don't really fully tell the story and then you disappoint the hell out of everybody. And we're just going to be like, why did you ruin the greatest character and the best portrayal of a younger version of him by Ewan McGregor? Like, why did you squander this opportunity? And so I again, there's a general level of hope, and then there's a general level of dread. This one is the one I have the most hope for because of all the people currently involved in it, and because the subject matter could be so great.
When you hear that Hayden Christensen returning to Star Wars, they're not bringing him back to put him in Darth Vader's suit. So I can almost guarantee flashbacks or force visions.
Yeah, he wore the Vader suit at the end of Revenge of the Sith, but like you say, I don't think that's the point. I mean, yes, in the series timeline and where it takes place and all that kind of stuff, yes, Vader's in the suit, but you've already got the guy who was in Rogue One who put the suit on. he had the stature and the presence and all that stuff. And James Earl Jones is not getting any younger. So I just think that, it's going to be Force Vision. Why did, I could see the whole "why did you betray me" conversation. But the thing is, like, is he coming back? Sorry, as I talk myself in this circle, I realize he's not dead until 3 more movies after the Kenobi series. So he can't come back as smiley, happy Hayden at the end of Return of the Jedi, dancing to Ewok drums and having a good time. So it's got to be flashbacks.
So with that being said, if it's not flashbacks, you could have, obviously, Obi-Wan leaving Tatooine for a time and Vader tracking him down and maybe having a couple of confrontations.
When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master, right? So it's burning Hayden Christensen on the beach of the lava flow, right? That was the last time they saw each other.
Well, we think. So, honestly, there is room to play. Because, Obi-Wan sitting by the fire and then taking out Maul, and that's his only true adventure. Come on.
You could have him as a rebel cell leader. You could have him using his hut as a nodal point for a rebel cell, and he could be directing operations against the Empire. Darth Vader is out trying to crush some outer rim planet or whatever, having Obi-Wan directing and maybe be victorious, and then having Vader sitting there on his ship sort of musing to himself about how he recognizes those tactics from the Clone Wars, and it reminds him of someone that is dead. That could work. That could extend Obi-Wan's reach without him having to leave the planet. Because remember, if Luke Skywalker is the chosen one, Obi-Wan can't just be bouncing off the planet. There's a lot of dangers. There's a lot of things that could go wrong in Luke's life that could keep him from fulfilling his destiny. And so Obi-Wan's got to be around. So this has got to be a part of the show. The other part of it has to be, he has to have some kind of hand in the rebellion. He has to be connected, because Princess Leia would not have sent the droids to Tatooine to Ben Kenobi without knowing that, 1, he's still there, 2, he's still interested. Like, there's got to be some other connection between him and the rebellion that is the through line from the end of episode 3 to Princess Leia sending the droids after him, or going to Tatooine after Scarif. At least I would hope that's the story, because that makes the most sense. Because you can't just have him just leaving the planet and going and have these great adventures every episode and then coming back and be like, hey, is Luke okay? I've been away for a while.
Luke will be 10. I don't know if that helps you conceptualize it, contemplate what will be in it.
Man, I don't want another Jake Lloyd episode.
His
honestly,
name's Anakin, and he's a person. Even if he's 10, I think that my original comments stand. It would have to be about him looking after the young Luke, maybe having interactions with him, giving him advice, things like that. You can't really, especially if he's 10, you really just can't leave Tatooine. It's an outer rim world. It's controlled by the Hutts. It's not an easy place to grow up. It's not an easy place to live, and it's full of dangers. Look at what happened to him when he rolls into Mos Eisley as a teenager. He's going to need a lot of protection on this planet, and Uncle Owen's always pissed off at him for trying to leave the farm, because it's like, you just don't ever leave the farm, man. But he's an adventurous kid. He wants to get out in the world and see things. He likes to race cars. He's basically a better looking, younger, thinner version of George Lucas. Ben Kenobi's going to have to be out following him around, and it's got to be something where he can have all of his adventures while he's still based on Tatooine. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to make it work.
So is Ewan McGregor more of Obi-Wan Kenobi than Alec Guinness?
That's a great question. I would like to hear Jeff's opinion on that.
He certainly had a lot more screen time than Alec Guinness. Push. Together they are the character.
Come on, make a choice. Sean?
I really enjoyed Ewan McGregor's portrayal of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And even though Sir Alec Guinness was my first Obi-Wan, I think, I don't know, I'm a Ewan McGregor guy.
I would say, honestly, Ewan McGregor is more Obi-Wan to me now. Screen time, Clone Wars, all the stuff that has happened, I really believe Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I'm excited about this series, but I'm having difficulty understanding the stories that they might tell. I agree with your points about Luke. It would be difficult to include a young Luke in the series. Easy to show him from a distance from time to time. Difficult to make him a main character. Vader, interesting, but Obi-Wan should not leave Tatooine, and he should not have interaction with Vader until A New Hope. What we have to do is we have to pay off the lines from A New Hope. Why did Obi-Wan call Mos Eisley a wretched hive of scum and villainy? Why did he say going to the cantina, most of the best pilots are to be found here? Our first episode, discussion of the future of Star Wars, has come to an end. Thank you, David.
May the Force be with you.
Thank you, Sean.
I have spoken.
Galactic Initiative is not authorized or endorsed by Lucasfilm Limited. The name Star Wars and all related materials are registered trademarks of Lucasfilm Limited, a subsidiary of the Walt Disney Company, all rights reserved. Galactic Initiative is a registered trademark, and other product and company names are trademarks of their respective holders. Use does not imply affiliation or endorsement.